watching. No, what's the delay? No, it's calling me, you said. All right, we are live.
Thank you. We have about 5 minutes. We'll get started at 10 a.m. Just a reminder that this is a completely virtual meeting. Dr. PA, may we ask again if you can hear us? Are you able to respond?
Or Mr. Willis, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you guys.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Danny, are you able to hear us? Are you able to respond?
I can hear you all. Yep. Hopefully you can hear me.
Perfect. Thank you. Yes, we're not able to get a response yet from Dr. PA. The time is 9:58 and we will call the meeting to order in about 2 minutes. Good morning, Chair Holmes Sutton. Wanted to acknowledge that it is 10 o'clock a.m. This is a completely virtual meeting. We'll call the meeting to order and I will ask Ms. Potter if she would be so kind as to take roll call.
Chair Dr. Holmes Sutton.
Present.
Vice Chair Thigpen.
Here.
Member Dr. Aldiva.
Here.
Oh, and as a reminder, when you join the meeting, please mute yourself. Member Haddad Bennett,
Present.
Member Salcido, Member Richards, Member Shante Rosales, Member Stern,
Present.
Member Whitaker, Student Representative Burry,
Thank you kindly. I appreciate you so much. We do have a quorum and we will proceed. I would ask if you all would join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. I want to proceed to agenda item number 2, public comment. I want to note that public comment will be taken during this agenda item regarding any item appearing on the agenda. I also wanted to make note, given that our meeting is entirely virtual, that you will be calling in. And so for public comment, you will call into the phone line 1-775-321-6111. The phone conference ID number is 327-282-453#. During the public comment periods, callers will dial *5 to raise their hand, and the moderator will call out the last 4 numbers of the caller's phone number. And at that time, the caller will dial *6 to unmute and make a comment. Public comment may also be submitted in writing via email at publiccomment@spcsa.nv.gov. And any public comment received during or prior to our meeting will be provided to the authority and included in the written minutes of the meeting. There is still a time limit of 3 minutes imposed on public comments in order to afford all members of the public who wish to comment an opportunity to do so. I appreciate you so much and would ask Teresa if there is any public comment at this time.
if you have called in for public comment, please press #5 to raise your hand and you'll be placed in the queue. We have no public comment at this time.
Thank you. I appreciate you. I will move us to agenda item number 3, approval of the consent agenda, acknowledging the January 24th, 2025 SPCSA board meeting action minutes, as well as B, the charter school contract amendment applications with reduction to enrollment caps for Civica Explore Academy, Nevada State High School Flagship, Nevada State High School Meadowwood, Southern Nevada Trades High School, Young Women's Leadership Academy. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor of the motion to approve the consent agenda, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Any in opposition? Any abstentions? The motion carries. May I also, Chair Holmes-Sutton, may I also note that our student representative has joined us this morning. Welcome. Thank you for being here, Matthew. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
I will move us to agenda item number 4, charter school contract amendment applications, and defer to Mr. Peltier.
Thank you, Dr. Holmes-Sutton. Danny Peltier for the record. The first agenda item for the contract amendment today is Pioneer Technology and Arts Academy of Nevada. They've submitted an amendment application requesting that the SPCSA grant a good cause exemption and approve the request to modify grade level offerings in year 1 and year 2 co-locate with Future Edge Charter Academy in year 1 and year 2, and enter into an articulation agreement with Future Edge for 8th grade students enrolled at Future Edge. According to the amendment application, PTAA proposes to launch with grades 6 through 10 instead of K through 8 in the 25-26 school year. PTAA plans for a phased expansions to grades 6 through 11 in year 2 and full K through 12 implementation by year 3. PTAA determined that affordable long-term school facilities remain limited in Las Vegas, and the opportunity to co-locate with Future Edge Academy was identified as the most viable solution. PTAA noted that the co-location agreement was finalized later than anticipated, requiring PTAA to adjust its grade level configuration to align with Future Edge's existing student population and enrollment pipeline. Additionally, PTAA must meet the minimum enrollment requirement of 100 students, and they hope this adjustment will allow for the school to meet that in year 1 of the school's operation. According to the amendment application, to ensure PTAA is fully staffed for the new grade levels, the school has communicated the grade level modification to all prospective previously interested staffing candidates. Any staff members who would qualify and were in the hiring pipeline for the originally planned K through 8 model have been informed of the new grade structure and given the opportunity to remain in the hiring process for middle and high school positions if eligible. From March to April 2025, initial job postings will be published and outreach to local and national teacher networks will begin. In April 25, PTAA will conduct interviews and extend offers to the first round of teachers with a focus on securing core subject and STEAM instructors. Regarding the co-location with Future Edge, PTAA secured a sublease with the Future Edge Charter Academy, which the school hopes will allow for a cost-effective launch that maximizes resources and supports sustainable expansion. PTAA noted that this co-location will allow the school to launch on time in a fully equipped educational environment. PTAA will use existing services such as internet infrastructure, food services, maintenance, and janitorial work through its sublease with Future Edge. According to the amendment application, PTAA has not yet formally engaged parents and community members in the grade level modification process, but direct input has been gathered from Future Edge's current 8th grade students and their families, who were asked whether they would be interested in continuing to 9th grade at PTAA in the grade level if the grade level modification is approved. The second request PTAA has included in their amendment application is an articulation agreement with Future Edge. As previously noted, PTAA is requesting to allow for priority enrollment for 8th grade students currently enrolled at Future Edge to enroll at PTAA. According to the amendment application, the lottery policy for PTAA will remain largely unchanged from its original submission in the charter application to the SPCSA. However, a key update is that 8th grade students currently enrolled at Future Edge will receive a priority enrollment at PTAA under the updated articulation agreement. This policy will be in effect for the 2025-26 and 2026-27 school years. Regarding the amendment request, SPCSA staff is recommending approval, but does have concerns regarding the timing and the viability of the plan. While it is not unique for a charter school to co-locate with another operating charter school for its initial years of operation, nor is it unique to have minor modifications to grade level offerings in the beginning of a charter term, this request requires significant changes to what was approved in the charter application. Additionally, due to the timing of the request, SPCSA does have concern regarding PTA's ability to completely alter the grade level offerings going from K through 8 to 6 through 10 and manage to ensure the school can meet its year 1 enrollment requirements and ensure proper staffing for the upper high school grades. SPCSA staff also has concerns regarding the lack of communication to families in grades K through 5 who may have been expecting to enroll at PTA beginning in the 25-26 school year. SPCSA staff strongly encourages PTAA to ensure that no family is left confused or without an alternative educational option due to this decision to modify grade level offerings. PTAA must make sure all families who expressed interest in attending the school in grades K through 5 are given resources and options as soon as possible. While PTAA provided a budget with projections that appear to be financially viable, SPCSA staff does have concern about the financial plan long term. The budget provided hinges on a few key points. The first, and by far the most important, is the school's ability to meet its year one enrollment requirement of 100 students. If the school is unable to meet this requirement, the plan does not appear to be viable and the school will ultimately not open. If PTAA can meet its year one enrollment requirements, the school predicts doubling its year one enrollment in year two to 201 students. SPCSA staff would note this projection may be overly optimistic considering the school is not in a permanent facility. SPCSA staff also has concerns regarding the lack of communication to the families in grades K through 5 who maybe have been expecting to enroll in the 25-26 school year. As I previously noted, SPCSA staff would encourage PTA to reach out to those families as soon as possible. SPCSA staff does not have concern regarding the articulation agreement between PTAA and Future Edge. The agreement aligns with NRS 388.456, and the school and staff would note this agreement may help in ensuring the school is able to meet its year one enrollment requirements. Ultimately, staff is recommending approval of these requests because this is the only viable plan the school has to open in 25-26. PTAA has deferred opening once already and would not be permitted to open if the school is unable to begin operations beginning next school year. As such, SPCSA staff recommends the authority approve the request while reiterating the concerns discussed above. SPCSA staff will continue to monitor PTAA closely through its pre-opening process and expects the school to complete and submit any outstanding pre-opening requirements and ensure timely submission of all future pre-opening requirements moving forward. Finally, the proposed motion below in the memo includes the conditions related to this approval, as well as previous conditions that are still outstanding. This proposed motion can be found on page 6 of the recommendation memo. I and SPCSA staff is happy to take questions. Additionally, I believe that we have some folks from PTAA here as well in order to provide clarification if needed from their side. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair Holmes-Sutton. I would ask if there are any questions from board colleagues for staff. And I would also ask if you would be so kind as to use your raise hand feature to facilitate discussion. I appreciate you. I am simply toggling through all of the screens to make sure that I haven't missed anyone. I would ask if there are any questions from board colleagues for any school staff, school leadership.
Member Stern has raised her hand, Madam Chair.
Thank you kindly, Member Stern.
Hi, good morning. Member Stern for the record. So I'm not sure. I think we do have members of school leadership here for, okay. So I guess my wondering is around the plan for shifting from 6 to 10 and ensuring that, you know, we're looking at staffing and curriculum because the 9th, 10th grade portion was not included in that. And that's a pretty significant shift that had not been on your radar for opening. So do you have in place, in addition to hiring the staff, plans to be able to successfully implement, especially at high school, we're talking about transcripts and things where we're talking about college and those related issues. Middle school certainly important as well, but it is a significant shift.
Good morning, Erin Phillips, board chair for the record. I just want to address, thank you for your question, and I'll get right to that. I just wanted to mention really quickly a couple of other things that came through in the original reading, that we do have 4 public meetings planned in the next 2 months to communicate with parents, as well as flyers have already been sent out to communicate with those families so that they're aware of the change that we're making. And so I just want to assure the board that we have just been really waiting for the approval from this board so that we can continue to move forward more, and to communicate that to those families. But they have sent out flyers and those meetings are on the calendar. And then also all items are up to date right now for pre-opening compliance. So that's something I just wanted to mention as well. So thank you. But just really quickly, and I may actually bring in the one of the other board members on this question as far as the staffing for 9th and 10th. But just to be really clear, I just want to also make a mention that we were originally approved for K through 12. That was our original charter approval. And then, we were, the intention was to open as a K through 8 model. And then again, this is also, as far as the first 2 years go, we're going to continue expanding. So we just wanted to make sure that this was a sustainable launch and that, we weren't, because we couldn't really find the necessary facilities based on just the market, which I'm sure you guys are well aware of. We wanted to make sure that we were having good stewardship with what we were given and that we are opening in a safe and really smart way. So we didn't, so that we can continue to be sustainable long term. That being said, to address your question, Ms. Stern, can I have one of my other board members, Shabam, do you want to speak to the staffing on the 9th and 10th, the question that Ms. Stern had?
Yes, for sure. I know Mr. Hernandez also has her hand raised. Mr. Hernandez, do you want to talk first before I jump in?
Sure. Through the chair, first of all, good morning to all of the board members and honored to be here with you. With regards to your question, Board Member Stern, which is a very valid question, I wanted you to first understand that all of us at the EMO as well as at the school site have experience with a K-12 model. So even though there is an opening that's outside of what originally was approved, the seamless process will be in place because of the experiences already at the table with this type of model in not only Clark County, but in other districts across the nation. I also wanted to let you know that the curriculum that has been selected for the program when the original application was approved has already been contacted. The vendors were contacted to get POs and quotes to be ready so that once this approval, if we were fortunate to have it approved, we would be able to proceed. So all of that proactive work has already been done. And with regards to the staffing, because our job descriptions for secondary positions have already been established in interviewing for other sites, the same job descriptions would be posted and we would be able to quickly do our job fair process. We do a job fair systematic process where we schedule different times during the week for interested parties to come get an orientation on the site. We do collective interviews and we hire from there qualified individuals. And we also have a partnership with local staffing agencies to be able to assist in the process, which they've helped other sites that we're part of managing. With regards to the professional development and your question around the preparation of the staff, we are national professional developers and we work with teachers, including teachers in Clark County, to support and train them on pedagogical experiences. So we are familiar with that and we understand all of the college preparation that goes into preparing a high school student from 9th grade up. We do orientations in 9th grade in all of the sites that have K-12, so parents are aware of graduation requirements, college entry requirements, and all of those components so that when they are starting their journey, they are ready to go. And because it is a 6-10, we start those conversations early because we want to build that college experience already from the beginning. Plus, we believe in acceleration. So accelerating the students from middle school to be ready to access dual enrollment through the partnerships we have with the university is something that we already have in place. So though as an educator myself, I understand your concern and your question. It's a very valid one. I wanted you to be rest assured that there's enough experience at the table to be able to meet those needs.
And Board Member Stern, just to...
Sorry, go ahead, please.
Just to piggyback on that, also, we, like Mr. Hernandez was saying, we already have a couple of universities and colleges lined up for dual credit. So when we were trying to make this shift, we already started reaching out to them as well. We already have the agreements with them that was submitted, but we are trying to make sure that before the launch, everything will be lined up so that dual credit also is in place for the students that are coming into high school.
And we already created the draft schedule, Board Member Stern, for the students already. So we have all that ready so that if today the board approves, we were ready to move forward tomorrow. If not, after this meeting, hit the ground running. So we have even the curriculum bulletin for our middle and high school students ready to release to all interested family members, including the co-articulated agreement with Future Edge, those 8th graders, so that they're aware what they have access to in 9th grade. And I also wanted to address the question earlier about the K-5 parents. Those interested parties were already spoken to, and we did work with the co-located building that does have a K-5 program to offer those parents the opportunity to register there since we were not opening. So it worked out to give them the opportunity. It was still in the same facility so that they would be able to access, particularly because there's parents that have siblings, to the question that one of the board members had. So it would still allow them to bring their sibling concept because the school is right across the wall, if that makes sense. So it really worked out for the families. I just wanted to update you on that as well.
Chair Holmstead, thank you so much. I appreciate you all. Member Stern, did you have any additional questions?
Member Stern, for the record, I appreciate the thorough response and the thoughtfulness that you put into this. I do want to reiterate that I do share the concerns that were expressed by Mr. Peltier in terms of sustainability, and to emphasize that should we move forward with this, our goal is always to make sure we're providing rigorous, high quality education in a sustainable way for schools that are going to be available to our families for the long term. That's part of being stewards, good stewards of public funds. And I do share some of the concerns about the enrollment, the sustainability, and should you move to a permanent facility. We do have that. So I do hope that you will continue, if approved today, to be mindful of communication with your families and that sustainability piece.
Thank you, Member Stern. Are there any other board colleagues who may have questions for school leadership?
We've got a hand up. You want to go ahead?
Chair Holmes Sutton, I think another member of the school team has their hand up, Dr. Greta.
Dr. PA?
Thank you, Chair Dr. Holmes Sutton, and to fellow board members. I just wanted to reiterate, as an educator and a board member for quite some time, I do understand the concerns, but because of the I've seen a transition in the last 2 years. There is a strong, systemic, intentional relationship between PTAA and Mr. Hernandez and his team. And the community has already started being a Las Vegas community citizen for the past 40 years. The community has already started talking. Word is out. Individuals are excited. And I really think with the strong established relationship and the commitment from the board, and I would definitely be one of the board members who would make sure that we remain in the forefront about the concerns, because they are very valid, legitimate concerns from an educational perspective. But I really know, not think, I know that we will be able to overcome the concerns and rise to the occasion with the continuous communication to make sure no family feel excluded, to make sure the communication is clear. And I have no concerns about the high quality professional learning, because we've already seen that transition. And I have no concerns from an educational perspective regarding staffing, because that has transitioned in the last 2 years, where high quality staffing, the retention is there. We don't have the transition with staff that occurred previous years. So I really want you to know, I want to assure the council here that as a board member and a former full-time educator, I would definitely be one of those voices speaking for the community to make sure that the concerns, that valid concerns, that we stay ahead of it and make sure that we provide this high quality educational opportunity for our students, their family members, and the overall community. So thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Dr. PA.
Madam
I
Chair, I'm
appreciate
prepared to
it.
make a motion when ready. Sorry, Vice Chair
Yeah.
Thigpen for the record.
I appreciate you. Vice Chair Thigpen, I just noted as I was scrolling through, member Haddad Bennett. Nope, okay.
I was gonna jump in to make the motion, but happy to second Kurt's.
Okay, thank you. I will welcome a motion.
Thank you, Madam Chair. It is a lengthy motion, so I'm going to try and make one that is a bit abbreviated, but should suffice legally. I would like to make the motion that the board approves the good cause exemption as outlined and provided in written form by SPCSA staff in the recommendation outlined in the memo for agenda item 4A.
And if I may, I just want to ensure with legal counsel that that would be appropriate as we move forward with our motion.
I can pull up the motion and review. Give me just a second.
Thank you.
Member Thigpen, could you also just state that the timeline as proposed in the written motion that you would vote on that as well?
Sure. I'll take another stab at that. It looks like, is 4B included in this? Is it all just agenda 4 as an overall recommendation?
We're looking at 4A.
Okay, just double checking. I was looking back at a different screen. Okay, so I move that we grant the good cause exemption as outlined by staff's written recommendation for agenda item 4A, including the enrollment cap and outlined timeline.
Thank you. May I have a second?
Member Haddad Bennett, I'll second.
Thank you. All those in favor of the motion, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Any in opposition? Any abstentions? The motion carries. The motion passes. Thank you so much. I will move us to agenda item 4B. Mr. Peltier.
Thank you, Chair. Again, Danny Peltier for the record. Future Edge Charter Academy has submitted an amendment application requesting that the SPCSA grant a good cause exemption and approve the school to enter into an articulation agreement with Pioneer Technology and Arts Academy of Nevada. Future Edge was approved to transfer sponsorship from Clark County School District to the SPCSA beginning in the 25-26 school year. As of the 2024 validation day, Future Edge had 259 students enrolled in grades K through 8. As I noted in the previous agenda item, this request by Future Edge aligns their enrollment policy with PTAA's in order to implement the articulation agreement between the two schools. Future Edge submitted an updated enrollment and lottery policy, which can be found as an attachment along with the amendment application. Based upon review of the agreement, the enrollment preferences align with Nevada NRS 388A.456, which allows the articulation agreements between the two charter schools. SPCSA staff is supportive of the request by Future Edge. This request is required to be approved by both PTAA and Future Edge and the authority board. The academic model, along with operations of the school, will not change based upon this articulation agreement, and the agreement will allow for an additional option for 8th grade students matriculating out of Future Edge's K through 7, or K through 8 school. Sorry. A proposed motion can be found on page 3 of your recommendation memo. Happy to take any questions. And I believe we do have some folks here from Future Edge as well, if there's any questions that you all have of them. Thank you.
Thank you kindly. I would ask if board colleagues have any questions for staff. Do board colleagues have any questions for school leadership? Seeing none, I would ask for a motion.
Vice Chair Thigpen, for the record, I'm happy to make the motion on this one as well. Oh, go ahead.
I'm saying thank you.
All right, I move that we approve the grant cause exemption request and approve Future Edge's request to enter into an articulation agreement with PTAAN for 8th grade students for the 2025, 2026, and 2026-27 school years with the following condition. By May 1st, 2025, Future Edge provides evidence that PTAAN and Future Edge Charter Academy have each hired their own school leader and that each school leader is employed at the school they are identified to lead. I also am including as part of my motion the approval of the enrollment cap as outlined in the memo.
Thank you. May I have a second?
Board Member Aldava, second.
Thank you. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Any in opposition? Any abstentions? The motion carries. Thank you. I appreciate you. I will transition us to agenda item number 5 and defer to Executive Director McAdam.
Thank you, Chair Holmes Sutton. I'm going to provide you a little brief history of the revolving loan. The revolving loan was created back in 2001, before even the SPCSA was created, in an effort to provide low interest capital to charter schools during their incubation period and to improve existing charter schools. Today, schools can apply for a loan during 2 application cycles, one from January 1st to March 15th, and one from July 1st to October 15th. The loan amounts may be $500 per pupil or $200,000, whichever is less. We have 4 outstanding loans to 3 schools and 1 application for this cycle. The interest rate on these loans is the prime rate at the largest bank in Nevada, which currently is 8%. So that whole low interest concept is very relative to what is going on, in the market. The Nevada Department of Education deducts repayments monthly from the school's PCFP payment. Repayments begin in the same fiscal year the loan is made for existing schools. New schools are allowed to defer payments for up to 12 months. It is important to note that once this board approves this loan, that is not the final step. We will then have to go to the June IFC meeting to get approval to fully fund this loan. Specifically today, we are looking at the application we got from Do and Be Arts Academy of Excellence, which was approved by the SPCSA board on August 25th, 2023. At that board meeting, and was scheduled to begin its first year of operation this fall in 2024. Due to difficulties in securing an appropriate facility, D-Bay, as we refer to it, deferred to opening in the fall of 2025. D-Bay will primarily serve students and families residing in North Las Vegas. D-Bay is requesting an SPCSA revolving loan in the amount of $80,000.
I can't hear her talking. So yeah.
Teresa, we can hear you. There you go. Let's see. D-Bay is requesting an SPCSA revolving loan in the amount of $80,000, which must not exceed the lesser of an amount equal to $500 per pupil enrolled or to be enrolled at the charter school, or $200,000 pursuant to NRS 388A.435. The submitted D-Bay budget reflects a plan to enroll 160 students in its upcoming first year of operations. The provided business plan indicates that the school will have sufficient cash flow to repay the loan plus interest. The school plans to use the funds for the purposes of preparing the school to commence its first day of operations. As a new public charter school beginning its first year of teaching students, D-Bay would greatly benefit from a low-interest loan to ensure that it maintains adequate cash flow and the facility is fully functional for staff and students. If approved, a revolving loan would be a timely influx of mean a timely influx of cash that would strengthen D-Bay's ability to expand this fall. SPCSA staff recommends approval of the revolving loan to Do and Be Arts Academy of Excellence, and a proposed motion can be found on page 3 of the recommendation memo. Happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you. Before I take questions from board colleagues, Chair Homestead, may I ask a question? It was specifically regarding the memo and looking at the planned enrollment. I note that under grade levels, it has for 2025-2026 K3 and 7-8. Then for 2026-2027, it has K4 and then 6-7. And then for 2027-2028, it has K8. I want to be certain that I understand. Is it intended that during 2026-2027, there would not be an 8th grade?
Give me 1 second to pull up the full memo. I didn't have the full memo open, so just give me 1 second here. I apologize. And I would also say, I believe Ms. Treadwell, the proposed executive director for the school, is on the call. So Ms. Treadwell, are you able to unmute and answer the board chair's question?
Yes, I am. That is correct. The 8th grade won't be added until year 3 of operation.
Okay, thank you. I wanted to be certain that I was reading that correctly, noting that I saw 7-8 for 2025-26.
Sham, I actually think that is a mistake in the memo. Sham, can you confirm on the record what grades you are intending to open with next year in 25-26?
Grades D-Bay intends to open with for 25-26 is kindergarten through 3rd grade and 6th and 7th, which means that we still have to submit a formal amendment of our grade levels. Please note that this change was because of our deferred year. We're intending to keep those students. When we have that amendment process training, we spoke to Danny, we spoke to Katie about what needed to happen. I know we've been going back and forth with our facilities and enrollment, so we finally came up with the resolution of submitting the formal amendment for our grade levels, which will be submitted on that April 7th board meeting, but it's going to be approved at our 3/26 board meeting by our board.
So not to confuse the board. I know what Sham is talking about. So essentially, they were originally approved to serve K2. Because they were trying, then they couldn't open. So they wanted this year to still give those 2nd grade families who were on the list the opportunity to enroll, which makes perfect sense. So they want to do K3. They have not put in the amendment for that yet, and that is forthcoming. But that, to Tanya's point, really wasn't exactly the question. There is a typo in this memo, Tanya. It should be grades K3 and 6-7 in year 25-26, grades K4 and 6-7 in 26-27, and then K8 in 27-28. So they'll roll up 5th grade and 8th grade in that year. So that there is a typo. So thank you for clarifying that, Chair Holmes-Sutton.
Chair Sutton, thank you. I appreciate it.
Oh.
Please.
Sorry, I forgot to raise my hand. Board Member Aldava. But the numbers stay the same, correct?
Yes,
there's
the
no
numbers
change
will
in the
stay
numbers.
the same.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any additional questions from board colleagues or
It looks like Member Stern has a question.
Member Stern, please?
Member Stern, for the record, not a question, just something I wanted to put on the record that I do know 2 of the board members for DBay, but I believe that I can still be impartial in this matter and make a decision that's in the best interest of the SPCSA. I did, however, want to put that on the record.
Thank you, Member Stern. I would ask if there are any additional questions from board colleagues for staff and or school leadership. Vice Chair Thigpen.
Thank you, Vice Chair Thigpen. For the record, when we're making the motion, do we need to mention the updated, the correction to the typo, or are we just improving the loan fund application?
Yeah, I think it's fine to just approve the motion because again, they're going to have to bring forth an amendment to add that 3rd grade in. It'll be on the next board meeting agenda. So I think we can get that all straightened around at that time.
Okay, in that case, I'm prepared to make a motion.
Before you do that, Vice Chair Thigpen, my apologies. I saw Ms. King Powell come onto screen. I just wanted to make certain if she needed to weigh in, we had permitted the opportunity for that to happen.
Samantha King Powell, for the record. Yes, Melissa is correct. We don't need to talk about the enrollment at this time. Just the proposed motion is fine.
Thank you kindly. Chair Holmes-Sutton, Vice Chair Thigpen, I would welcome your motion.
Thank you, Vice Chair Thigpen. For the record, I move that we approve the DNB revolving loan fund application for $80,000. Allow SPCSA staff to work with the school to make budget revisions based on the available balance in the revolving loan account and the number of students enrolled, as long as the total funding does not exceed the lesser of $200,000 or $500 per student enrolled at time of funds disbursement.
Member Stern, I'll second.
Thank you. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Any in opposition? Any abstentions? The motion carries. Thank you. I will transition us to agenda item number 6, our second public comment. Again, noting that public comment will be taken during this agenda item on any matter not on the agenda. I also wanted to ensure that everyone had access, given we're at a completely virtual meeting. And so public comment can be provided by calling 1-775-321-6111. Phone conference ID 327-282-453#. I would ask Ms. Potter if we have any public comment.
If you have called in for public comment, please press #5 to raise your hand. We do not have anyone calling in for public comment.
I appreciate you so much. I appreciate each of you. I will note that the time is 10:43 and would adjourn our meeting at this time. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.